Okay, we're ready to bring the meeting to order.
Starting the school. Sorry. I'll figure out.
What's wrong? Is this what happened last?
No one's actually speaking in the microphones yet, folks, so if you just hang tight. We're ready for you. Go ahead.
I would like to bring the meeting to order at 4 o'clock. Everybody, welcome. Thank you for coming. This is the East Region Town Hall meeting, also known as E.R.T.H District 3. It is April 3rd, 2024. We're at the Moose Lodge at 15900 Moose Lodge Lane in Clear Lake Oaks. Roll call for members. Unfortunately, our chairman Denise Laustalot and our vice chair Jim Purton were unable to attend today. So I am Pamela Kaczynski, and we have Tony Morris, and I would like to welcome our newest board member, Maria Kahn.
Yay.
Just a reminder, we are approved by the Board of Supervisors, and we are volunteers, and we have 2-year terms. So welcome, Maria. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Number 3 is, I'd like to do a little reminder for meeting protocol. Because we are on Zoom and PEG TV, we need everyone who wishes to speak to be on a microphone. So if you have some questions or comments, you will need to go to the podium so that it will be recorded. And I encourage everyone to participate. Public input, it's up to 3 minutes per citizen to discuss any item that is within the committee's jurisdiction and that is not on this agenda. Do we have anyone with public input? When?
When's coming up? Do I need to take this? Good afternoon. I am Wynn Carey from Spring Valley. And for the last few years, your Firewise groups have been passing out this pamphlet to you, recommending changes you can make to your home for hardening against fires. This last week, I received a letter from my homeowner's insurance saying, information needed to evaluate your policy for renewal. You must complete and sign this document, provide the required information to your agent by a due date, which is like a week from now. We may non-renew your policy if you do not return this information. Item number 11 on the 3-page format that they have to answer questions says, does your home meet all of the criteria established by the California regulation for the property level wildfire mitigation, Title 10, Section 2644.9? If yes, provide documentation in the form of a wildfire prepared home certification. Additional details may be found at www.wildfireprepared.org. Well, that webpage isn't up and running, except to tell you that they're going to charge you $125 for their certificate, and that it has to be renewed annually. And if you go through their, I don't know how many pages of questionnaire, and at the bottom it says, pay for your certificate, you punch that up and it collapses. So have fun, people. Oh, by the way, this is, I guess, now a new California law.
Wow.
Would you like to share who your insurance agent is?
I have an independent agent and the company he's going through is Farmers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Donna Makowitz. I just wanted to introduce myself to you that don't know me. I'm the General Area Plan Advisor representing Environment. And I'm Clear Lake Oak Keys POA, and I'm Red Bud Audubon Society and Sierra Forest.
Aren't you on the trust, too?
Yes, that's right. Lake County Land Trust, Rodman.
Thank you.
And Donna's on the Lake County Land Trust. Hi, my name's Randy Wilk, Clear Lake Oaks. Oh, this better? Sorry, I don't speak very loud. Randy Wilk, Clear Lake Oaks. Just want to let you know PG&E is in our area right now, and they are really tearing up our roads to the point that they're going to have to be completely repaved. PG&E is digging underground the wires, but really tearing up our roads. And these need to get repaved, basically. Cerritos, Alta Vista, High Valley. And if there was ever a fire or anything like that, it just reminds you that because we don't have an egress, another egress, there's going to be a lot of lives lost, and the roads are not 20 feet in width. And it's very difficult to go down these roads, even as they are. But with traffic, it's worse, and then they sometimes there's blockages because they have one lane, and it now takes 15, 20 minutes to just get down a 1 mile stretch. Anyway, that's my comment.
Thank you.
Hi, Holly Harris. I just wanted to give a quick update on the John T. Klaus Park, just because it was not on the agenda. As you know, Mr. Klaus donated acreage, which is right basically here to Clear Lake Lava. So it's 584 acres, which is now going to be a county park. And I just wanted to give you an update. Parks and Public Services, which is in charge of Parks and Recs, is just finishing up their Master Parks Plan, which is going to be going out to the community later this month for input. And we do have our own page in there for the John T. Klaus Park, which is 584 acres. Basically, what Lars told me, who's in charge of Public Services, is that the board recently approved a list of pre-qualified landscape architecture and planning firms. Lars is speaking with them regarding a natural resource management plan for the park and a phased master plan. The master plan is going to look at elements such as trails, picnic areas, destination playground, nature center, pavilion. Those are just elements which the community can agree on having or not agree on having. The public is going to have input on all of this when it does come out. He's also working right now on speaking with them about developing an interim use and management plan which would open the park to use prior to development of the park. As you may or may not know, there are already roads over there that can be used immediately for hiking, et cetera. Once again, the public's going to have input on all of these plans, so hopefully we'll hear from him soon about the more going on with it.
So we don't know at this time when that master parks plan is going to be presented?
He said at the end of sometime this month, they're going to be presenting it to the public.
Hi, my name's Kevin Lawrence. I live in Clear Lake Oaks. I wanted to expand on what Rainey was saying about the PG&E work burying the cables. If you ever take a drive up High Valley Road, you'll notice that they're digging trenches in the road to bury some of the cable. They're not using any kind of fill base to prevent it from settling, and the trenches that they've already built above Cerrito Drive are sinking in. So when you're driving it, it's like going on a reverse speed bump. They use a large excavator with metal tracks, which is not designed to be driving on the paved roads. All the roads are getting tore up. Then at the end of the day, they drive it all the way to the top of Cerrito Drive to park it down from High Valley Road. every day there's a new pothole or a new problems with the road. Yesterday on High Valley, just before Cerrito Drive, the right side of the road crushed from driving that heavy equipment onto the roads. And so when you come on, if there's another car coming to you, you go to the side, your whole car dips to the one side. And that was the first or second day that they started coming down High Valley Road at that area. I've asked the workers, and they said, well, PG&E is being responsible for any repairs that have to be done. Well, I highly doubt if that's going to be the case. But somebody, other than the homeowners, should be overseeing this work and not just and most of this work is being done by contractors of PG&E. So they're just there to get the work done. So I would hope that someone's going to address some of these issues because we pay a lot of money in taxes. I pay a lot of money on wear and tear on my car, and every day I come up there, it's a different pothole or a different damage to our roads. And what I'm hearing is Lake County doesn't plan on doing any paving until 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Crandall, do we have a representative that we can contact from PG&E?
Yes, we do now. I'll give you that update. Actually, if you want me to.
No, you can do it during yours.
Update now.
If it's just on PG&E, or you want to wait till your update?
I'm fine now.
Okay. We have plenty.
Yeah, take what you want.
Yeah. Just make sure they're live.
This one good? Yes.
Yes.
I gotta pull up his name, but there is a new representative, and I have it right here, because I had to contact him about there was a situation in Lucerne where some wires are falling, PG&E work, all of that type of thing. We also have it going on in, can you hear me? There we go.
I was going to say, you might
Yeah.
need to be louder.
Okay. Man, I can't find his name, but there is a new, Jason Torino is his name. He is the new representative. We used to have Melinda. Do you remember Melinda?
I do.
Yeah, so he replaced Melinda, and I can probably get him to come to one of these. He said he's willing to do so. So let's see if we can get him to come to one of these and talk with him. And,
Great.
And not only that, but I've been on him about a couple of things. I can add this. I'm also going to a RCRC meeting on the 19th. The 19th with PG&E at another level. Jason won't be at that one, but another group will be there. So I'll be willing to bring this up as well. They're doing the middle mile project. I know that's part of what they're doing to bury some sort of, for internet and whatnot. And so, but PG&E, for some reason, on a couple of situations, didn't finalize some of the work that they're doing. So we do ensure that they know, regardless of what they do, we just keep on them, and so, but like I said, I can bring Jason to one of these, and I'll even give out his contact info, so, yeah.
Perfect. Chief Mike?
We had a question on Zoom.
Go ahead.
Okay. Terry Roy, if you can hear us, go ahead. Terry, can you hear us?
Yeah, is there a better audio quality? Because half of this is getting missed on Zoom.
Hold on 1 second. What was that again?
Is there some way to improve the audio quality? Because it's all very hard to hear on Zoom.
Yeah, I'm doing the best I can with the audio. We've been having some Zoom issues as of late, so is that better? Hello? I think that was just their question. Okay. Go ahead.
Any further public input?
Well, can I say something?
If you, I guess.
Oh, can I stay here and say, I have some public input, but do I need to go down there to the other? Okay, hi, my name's Maria Kahn. I live up High Valley Road, up in the valley floor, and I have been doing a lot of studying about the road maintenance, the traffic, to basically educate the public on what we're seeing as far as cumulative traffic and condition of the road. I have a YouTube channel under my name, Maria Kahn, Kann, that I've been posting some videos of. I took a drive up the road and back, and so people can go and look at that if they like. I intend to post more videos there of things that we've seen. We had a really close call of a truck almost sideswiping a car into a ditch just yesterday or the day before that happened, and so that will go up there also. I did a traffic study. Have a camera on the road in 2 different places. I'm trying to gather data. So the first test I did was on a Saturday. The first vehicle, I started at about 4 in the afternoon, so 4:25 to 10:02 p.m. We had 49 vehicles pass just my mailboxes, which is on the valley floor. It's just a one long stretch that goes down towards Brassfields. There's a 90-degree turn, and it's just from that point all the way down to Brassfields. So we had 49 vehicles travel in that time period on a Saturday. Sunday, they started at 7:03 in the morning, and to 1:54, we had, in the afternoon, 111 vehicles pass. And then I moved the camera, and I set it up and started at 8:06 p.m. to 9:27, and we had 6 vehicles. But I wanted to get that location, which is just as you start up High Valley Road from the school. It's that first curve going up, and the camera was pointing up to a blind curve that's really dangerous. That's where the side swiping that almost happened recently occurred. That day was Monday, March 25th. The first vehicle entered the valley at 5:07 a.m., and we had over 365 vehicles travel in and out of the valley that day, and they ended at 9:21 p.m. The next time I did a study was on a Saturday, 3/30/2024, 7:08 a.m. to 10:21 p.m. We had 187 vehicles travel from my mailbox, which is up on the valley floor, down to Brassfields. I moved the camera at that time because we had a traffic accident that occurred with a Brassfield employee who missed the turn, took out our mailboxes, and ended up totaling her car and injuring herself. So I put the camera back out on my road so that we could see what was happening there. Easter Sunday, we had 77 vehicles traveling that stretch also, from 6:30 in the morning to 9:13 at night. Monday, 4/1, started at 5:18 a.m. to 8:56 p.m., and there was 180 vehicles. Tuesday, 4/2, from 4:46 a.m. to 10:13 p.m., there were over 175 vehicles also on that stretch. So my objective is to put it back down by the school once PG&E gets their work done, so that we can have more of a representative totaling of vehicles in and out of that, the High Valley Road and Cerrito, and what's the other one? Alta Vista, thank you. So I'm going to continue with my metrics on the roads that we have. We have 1 approved and 4 proposed grows scheduled for the High Valley Ridge, and I think it's imperative that the Planning Commission use cumulative numbers with all these grows together and a winery. They need to take into consideration the entire picture that's occurring on our small, quiet little, what used to be quiet road. And additionally, I'm doing pictures and videos of the damage that's being done with PG&E as well. So I'm really getting traffic reports from CHP and also public work records of the work that's been done on that road since as far back as I can get. So I'm trying.
Where are you posting those videos again?
I have a YouTube channel. It's Maria Kahn, just my name. So there you go. So that's my comment as a citizen. So thank you much.
Thank you. Any other public input? This is good. I mean, this is what the town hall is really about. It's your format, because we don't have a city hall, we are unincorporated. This is your chance to speak up and express concerns, also express good news. I always like good news. So I'll move right on then. The next item would be to approve the Earth minutes from the March meeting. Maria hasn't had a chance to review those, and we're minus 2 members that were here, so I'm going to have to move that to table that till the next meeting in May. The Clear Lake Oaks Consolidated Lighting District update, I'm very sad to say there is no update. And I said this is that item that has been on the agenda since this town hall was formed in 2016. And I did reach out twice to Scott Harder and didn't get a reply, so.
The last one was on the 4th. Is that the last?
Email that I
The
sent.
email I see that Scott gave was on the 4th was the last one. Right.
So as I said, I don't
Yeah.
have, sorry, there's no update. So the last we knew, it was still under survey of the area. Anyone have any questions about what the Consolidated Clear Lake Oaks Lighting District is
You
about?
also do know that he being Scott Harder is retiring as well.
That's what Tony was guessing.
Yes, and so
Not
right
on the
now
jobs.
we're recruiting for, it's in the process of
Recruiting
being
for
recruited
replacement?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
So-
darn.
Sorry about that, Tony, what were you saying?
No, he just informed me before the meeting.
Jobs available.
And when I spoke with him, I reminded him, not only was it the Spring Valley, Lake Recovery Project, but also the lighting district as well. So he's working on, I can see if he can get me not only an update report or whatever, so we can pass on to the next person, because we don't want it to drop off.
Exactly, with the transition. I appreciate that. Any questions on Consolidated Lighting District for Clear Lake Oaks? Okay. I'll move on to item 6, crosswalk safety at East Lake School and Highway 20. Denise Loustalot was taking point on this. She said at this point she doesn't have an update on this. I didn't,
I do.
okay.
So, you probably remember when Caltrans came and did that one report. It was about a totally different project. But then there's the Caltrans CHP grant that they applied for the rapid rectangular flashing beacons. So those will be on the highway, and that should be going out. They're working on getting that ready for either this year or next year. However, when I went to RCRC last month, it was after this meeting, so I'll let you know now. The Secretary for California State Transportation Agency, Tokes Almishakin, was there, and he gave a report to the whole group of the supervisors from the rural counties. Wanted to ask a question, but he didn't have the time, but I did sneak out and meet him in the hallway, and then as I talked to him, I let him know about that project that's happening and then the other project. However, within the last 5 months or 6 months, or even in the last year, how many deaths there were, and I roughly estimated it up to around 10 to 12. That's just not even just people being hit, but also the potential and then wrecks. And so one of the key emphasis that he gave was, the secretary, was that safety. He wanted to emphasize safety. And so I was telling him, well, we have a safety issue on Highway 20. At least 18 to 22,000 cars go by a day on the highway. And so we don't have any flashing beacons. We don't have anything to stop traffic. They just kind of go through. Sometimes they pass through the middle. We don't have any mechanism but to get some of these done with Caltrans. And so if you can help expedite that, that'd be great, because he does have the oversight, and it's within his purview to go ahead and give those types of orders, if you will. One of the blessings in disguise was his administrator or administrative assistant had said, I know where you're talking about on Highway 20. Do you guys still have Nice Frosty? I says, no, it's been replaced with a Dollar General, but we have Foster Freeze. And she was like, wow, I go by there every day, and I never paid attention to that. Or not every day, but like once a month or every other month. But it is dangerous, and they were saying how they wanted to help us with that. So that was good to be able to emphasize that for us to the man that's in charge, I guess you could say. The other thing I'm working on, I went by Clear Lake High School, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, And I noticed that they had these flashing beacons on the other side of their high school baseball field, which is a small road off the back into a rural, not a rural neighborhood, but an urban neighborhood, basically, what you could say, like suburban neighborhood or whatever. And I was like, how did they get these right here? This is interesting. But of course, it's a city jurisdiction deal. So I talked to Kevin Ingram, who gave me the amount for what they paid for those and how they went about it. Of course, they got some sort of grant for like safe streets or whatever. And so my thought process is to work on getting those for each school in the town of Clear Lake Oaks, one in Lucerne and a couple in Upper, either or, like if I can get 2 or 1 per town at least when it comes to the schools, to go ahead and get that moving, because those really do help. They do flash, so you have to press a button, and then when that light flashes, people have to stop. I really did emphasize also to the secretary that the rectangular flash beacons are nice, yes, but what would be ideal is the HAWK, the high intensity walking, I don't know what K stands for, but what those do is it stops traffic. You have to stop once that takes place. If you've been in Ukiah, you'll see on the, I think it's State Street, is it, or something like that, that if you press the button, the person gets to walk across the street, that you have to stop. Yeah, and so that's what I asked for, at least 1 in each town for that, for sure, too. So I'll be following up with his secretary or his administrative assistant. But yeah, I was glad to make that connection, so I just wanted to let you know that was a fortunate meeting to be at. So, because I wanted to emphasize not only what's being said here, but also Lucerne and Upper Lake has the same, problems with our highway right now. So, just wanted to give you that information.
Excellent. That would be great. Like I said, including all of the schools and their crosswalks. When you drive past that Highway 20 in the East Lake School there is nothing to draw your attention that this is really a bold way to let you know that it's a crosswalk. I don't know if that, in the interim, the crossing guard can wear something or carry a sign that's flashing, and whether or not we can put in any license plate reader cameras.
There is one going I think it's pointing towards when you go through High Valley. There is one on that road, but if we need to reposition it, we can.
Anything in
Yeah,
the interim, because we know all of this takes a very long time.
Yeah, there's a flock camera is what it's called. There's one, I know there's one going out, because I know for the district we put up, it was 19, now there's about 20, 22 or something, but to catch everyone going in and out of the county, ingress and egress off of the highway. The highway, there are flock cameras on the highway, but those are the sheriff's. But everything off of the highway in District 3 is just for us, to make sure that we can catch people going in and out. And they've helped in a couple situations as well, whether it be someone hiding or trying to circumvent the highway or whatever. So.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the public?
Yeah, and we should also mention not only Highway 20, but the road, High Valley, the cross-section there. It's a very narrow corridor, and the road in front of the school it's really terrible right now. It's maybe meant that way so it could slow people down with potholes, but it's a dangerous spot.
I do have one comment. I spoke with the lady that lives in the house right at the bottom of the hill, right in that curve. Her name is Pat, but I'm forgetting her last name. She's complained several times to the fire department, to the county, about that corner, about how the trucks come down so fast, and that the parents are, because there's such limited space around the school, the parents are pulling U-turns at that point in her driveway, and she's just terrified that somebody's going to get T-boned by one of these big trucks that come down the hill so fast. So I actually stood on the corner of High Valley and Highway 20 one day and just videotaped the cars. I didn't have any conversation at all in it. I just wanted to videotape a pickup in the afternoon of the parents coming in and out to get their children, and then just watching the traffic go by. And at one point, the poor crossing guard was just terrified looking that she's going to have to step out into the traffic. So a big semi was coming. I actually put my hand up to stop the semi to, make them aware that there was a crossing guard here, and so that she could actually get the children across the street. So I put that video also up on my YouTube. There's only like 4 up there right now, but I'm just starting with that whole thing. So I just thought
It's like candid camera,
Well, you know what? We've got to utilize every means we have at our disposal to record these things and make it visible to other people, and document truly what's happening.
Yes, Chief Mike.
There we go.
No,
Go for it.
I know. I'm following Thomas's
Good morning, Mike
rules.
Sancio, the fire chief for North Shore Fire. There's been no complaints to my office about that corner. Now, she may have spoken with the crews from time to time, but no complaints have been made to North Shore Fire. Nor do we have any say in the matter, other than to respond. So we've provided people with data before about roadway deaths and things like that, including CHP, Caltrans, and everyone in between, but no complaints have been to my office.
Okay, well, I don't know when she just let me know that she had complained to a fire department, so I didn't know if it was yours or, okay, fair enough.
And Thomas, remind me if there's anybody on Zoom who has any comments or questions. I'm always forgetting about Zoom.
No, we're good on Zoom. They can hear now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for speaking in the microphone.
EJ, I got a question.
Yeah.
Why can't we have our special task force in front of the schools on the mornings?
Special task force?
I don't know, why can't we?
Well, that's what they're for, right, is to clear up the area? I mean, I've driven through there in the last month and seen 2 people go to the center and cross before the guard gets out there. That's going to get somebody killed, so, well, I mean, I seem to remember there was a time when sheriffs or city police used to stand in front of the crosswalks, or at least be there with their lights on, so that people, that's a really bad intersection. There's nothing except that crossing guard, and she's going to get hit.
One thing that came to light, which was a surprise to me at the last meeting, was the CHP officer that was here shared with me that at any one time in Lake County, we only have 2 CHP officers on duty for the entire county. I was thinking they could.
We just hired a guy who was just in the news maybe last week, an additional CHP officer.
That's great.
He did mention that there were several in training, but I was thinking, why don't we have sheriff or CHP? Same thing. Camp out at beginning and ending of school at that spot, and there just isn't the staffing for that, unfortunately.
Well, they do park. I mean, like, there was 2 parked right out here. I mean, we can make the recommendation to them to park in front of the school when school's happening. That shouldn't be an issue. But I'm not sure what they would, if they're doing it in the morning or not. I just know I see them in the evening, either park here or in town or by Clark Island, or not Clark Island, but the other area.
I usually see them at the winery, parked in front of the
Right.
gates.
Yeah, so, and then you do know that pilot program will come to a halt in May. However, I've been meeting with Bruno and with the other staff to consider how this is going to morph into continuing a force, if you will, so. But one good thing is that, I don't know, I think it was in the mid last month, they swore in 24 officers, so corrections officers were hired, which gives the deputies that were hired the opportunity to actually do their jobs like we're talking about, so that's a plus. And then there was promotions as well. So great news there. We're seeing that the changes that were made to the budget and whatnot are working. So if we can get our force back in place, now we have the people to camp in front of the schools, or at least 3 or 4 per shift rather than 2 or 3.
Than 2,
Yeah, so that I didn't write it down, but I just thought of it when you mentioned that I don't know about the CHP. I can't speak for them. I did invite him, and I was glad he was here.
Yes.
But for the deputies, so far so good. They're hiring people. The budgetary decisions are working, and hopefully we get some more coming through the academy to help.
Good. Kathy, thank you for your patience.
Sure.
You're up.
Kathy Garner, I live in Clear Lake Oaks Keys. I'm a retired Canocti Unified School District school bus driver, and we discussed this last time. I've been retired 16 years. I drove for 26. Every now and then there was a CHP out there, but nothing has changed. Now, I just chatted with with Sally, and I'm going, because I mentioned last month when we were in Hawaii, there was, they, on each side, they had baskets with wild colored flags, and people zip through there, so then they just take a flag. And to me, I'm going to call the principal, I know her, and we might talk about it. So people are crazy. They're even crazier than when I drove. So they don't see things. I don't know what their problem is, but anyway, maybe they'll see a flashing a wild flag for now, because I don't see anything happening. We complained 30 years ago, so we'll see.
That's
Thank you.
also why I'm applying, and I talked with Kevin Ingram from Lakeport about it, because going through Public Works, as you see when we brought Scott here last time, it would take a lot longer. There's a lot of things I'm working on with them, signs, the cameras, the flock cameras, and it takes a while for them to get to specifics. But that's why I got the cost for the flashing beacons, and would like to work with work with cannabis discretionary funds that I may be able to cover at least 3 of those with, if the price is what I expected. He gave me an estimate of like $14,000 per flashing beacon, which, that's about what, 40,000 or whatever. And if I'll make that happen, because the sooner the better, having those there. And I don't, rather than writing for some sort of grant that's going to take a long time with Public Works or whatever the case may be, or getting all 5 supervisors to agree, or 3 at least, I would rather go that route with the flashing beacons. So that is something that I just started, I want to say a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So, and that's when I seen those flashing beacons at the high school. So that way it's a separate thing rather than bringing it to another situation that's going to slow it down.
All right. Sounds good. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Sally David, retired school teacher. I did attend East Lake as a student. I was on the crossing guard, almost got hit a couple times. I was a teacher there for 20 years, on crossing guard so many times. I don't know how we didn't get hit, students, parents, teachers. Last Thursday, I went to East Lake. I've been volunteering, and I did not see the crossing guard. The sun was in my eyes. I was going towards the east. I could not see her. I only saw that the car next to me had stopped. It is still dangerous, 50, 60 years later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what about the bumps that we have before the traffic circles? There's some bumps in the road that alert you to slow down. I mean, those seem like they might be an easier, more cost-effective thing.
They call those
also.
rumble strips or something? What do they call those?
Yeah.
So like when you're at the Y,
Yeah.
and you come upon the traffic circle, there are bumps in the road that you go over.
Off the highway? Or
On the highway.
Yeah, on the highway.
As you're, I think on either side of the school, those would be a good mechanism, at least to get the driver's attention that they're in a zone that they need to slow down in. Because they don't slow down going past that school.
Yeah,
Wouldn't we have to have the California's permission to do anything on the road?
Is that?
Yeah, well, it would have to be something between Public Works and Caltrans, and if Caltrans has jurisdiction, we'd go through them. But, it's worth asking.
It's just a matter of getting their attention. As they say, people aren't paying attention when they drive. And so I know that when I hit those traffic circles, those bumps do make a difference. They slow you down. That's what they're meant to do. So it could be a cost-effective method to consider.
It's not outside of something Caltrans would do, though, either. And I'll give you an example. In Upper Lake, they're doing like a creek clearing project, they're working with the area in Upper Lake to do something like that, which is off of the highway, so I'll bring it up to them, and then even Public Works to see if they need to be a part of it. But if Caltrans can do it, that would be ideal, especially in front of all the schools.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7, Spring Valley update. Tony?
I didn't know there was.
Did you want to see if maybe Wynn has something in
Yeah,
Spring Valley or
I wanted to
Cindy
know about
stores?
the Firewise for the season. Is it,
Anything to share? Yes, ma'am. We don't have Tammy here today running around with a microphone.
I will say this, I have gotten on multiple complaints that the marijuana growers are back in the area and they're bringing in big trucks and stuff again on our roads, and I haven't followed any of them yet this year, but I'm getting ready to. I've got to talk to Marcus. Maybe we need to have him come in here and talk about High Valley and Spring Valley again. I'll call
You can
him.
invite them.
Yeah.
They're pretty busy with the area plans and whatnot. If he could come, if I have to ask him, I have to go through Maria, who's busy with the area plans right now.
I'll ask him.
So yeah, if you can, maybe he'll come, but yeah.
No problem.
Yes, Wynn?
Well, Firewise is starting to get up and running again. Thank you to the North Shore Fire chipping crew came in on March 6th and worked for a couple of projects and for the neighbors. I've called the road department a couple of times because thanks to the PG&E subcontractors, the highway, Long Valley Road off of Highway 20 for the first 2 miles now has considerable number of mud problems coming off the hills. Those hills are volcanic ash, they're not dirt, and that heavy equipment that the gentleman talked about tearing up the road and going. They were working on the Long Valley Road. They started in September. They thought they were finished. PG&E came and inspected it, and that wasn't in deep enough, so they started up all over again. So we had them digging up that road and holding up our traffic up to 45 minutes at a time for 3.5 months. So I'm doing a flyer this weekend that I'm going to be mailing to the property owners in Spring Valley regarding that little brochure I just showed you. And I found out that even though we have 900 parcels, we actually only have 740 property owners because they buy multiple parcels, which kind of made me feel good because we can get our flyer done quicker. Thanks.
I had a question I keep wanting to call and ask you, but can we get any of those logs for the areas of the telephone poles? I don't know what they do with them. They're not going to use them again, I assume.
You'd have to go down and talk to
No,
the
I mean for,
subcontractor.
the areas where you put the branches and stuff to keep the people that dump trash and stuff where we've blocked areas off.
Well, there's one area on Long Valley Road where the lady was having a bad time with trespassers. And as we trimmed her trees and took them down, she asked us to put the logs up there to stop the vehicles coming in.
There's a couple of spots where they get water out of the creek too, down by the campgrounds. It would be nice to block off.
Well, and I just got a call yesterday about the guy that drove along the Wolf Creek dike up behind the houses about 2 or 3 blocks with a wash machine in the back of his truck, and when he drove out, he no longer had the wash machine.
I know.
Thank you, Wynn. Anything else on Spring Valley update?
No, it's the same stuff. We figured they probably would come back stronger this year because they were really light up in the community last year after we got on their case, but we figured this year it'd be more crowded, so I'll take a look at it a little bit further. I know Marcus has some specific things that they're going to do up there. They've got some drones that are supposed to go up at some point for the ones that have gotten complaints, so they don't have to go on the properties to see whether they've got, whether it's the trash or garbage that's out there or the marijuana, they have a easier time getting in and getting access and looking at this stuff. So that's pretty much same as it has been. So hopefully by the next meeting they'll have some action, because this is the time right now when they're planting.
Yeah.
Is when all the plants are going in. So see if we can defer a couple of them.
And Tony's referring to the illegal grows, not the other topic that we have up next, which is the approved, legal grows. Any questions on topic 7, Spring Valley update from the public? Okay, then we'll move right along. Number 8, commercial cannabis. This is the legal part. And Cannabis Ordinance Task Force update. Holly is going to update us. Before you do, since the last meeting, there's been some information has surfaced on transporting cannabis over federal BLM land. There has been a liability clause, there's some circulating some information on that, hold harmless clause in some of these permits. And we're mentioning how many of these grows seem to be concentrating in the High Valley Road area. So, Holly, you have details for us?
Okay. Okay, in terms of the cannabis update, there's currently 19 cannabis projects not approved, but going through the process or approved in the Earth area. 7 are approved, 5 are withdrawn, denied, or have violations. There are 7 that are currently pending, and of those pending ones, there's 2 where the applications are being checked. 2 have incomplete applications. 2 are at the CEQA review process, which is when they write it up and it goes out for public comment. And then there's 1 at the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission one is Lou Farms, which is up in High Valley. It was up a couple weeks ago. It looks like it's going to probably be sometime later this month before it comes, actually goes back again to the Planning Commission. One of the projects that was just approved last month is currently up for sale. The Lemon Glow had previously gone through CEQA and had been published on the Clearinghouse, but it had issues and it had to go back to the drawing board, and it's currently being revised. One thing is most of these seem to be centered in the High Valley area. You have Monte Cristo and High Valley Oaks, which are approved. Poverty Flats, Lou Farms, Hypnotic Farms, and Lemon Glow are in queue. Soares was denied and Stony Farms was withdrawn. So that's predominantly where everything's been focused right now. And as everyone has pointed out, there's one way in, one way out. In terms of along that vein, Andrew Amelong, who was the cannabis program manager for CDD, took a position in Napa. They're not going to be replacing him, but they're folding the cannabis permitting into their standard project list. And Michelle Iris, who is the principal planner, is now overseeing the planning division and all pending discretionary projects. And discretionary projects means those needing major or minor use permits. They're no longer going to be keeping the cannabis spreadsheet. So I'll just keep watching more for it. In terms of the Cannabis Task Force, there's been 2 meetings in the past month. The board did pick we had been out one of our 2 public representatives for 4 months. The board did approve someone who did make it to the last meeting. We have attempted to make contact with our public representative to go over public issues because it's not being talked about at the task force yet. But we're not getting much response to our emails. So we will keep trying. Currently, the task force is looking at annual reports and inspections, and this Monday, they're going to be looking into prohibited activities such as tree removal, water use, odor, generators, lights, and pesticides. These upcoming, it's a little hard to find out what's coming up in the future, but the upcoming is going to start focusing on public issues such as protection of minors, exclusion zones, setbacks, performance standards. There's really nobody from the public watching over this. There's 3 of us that actually watch the meetings and try to keep track of the whole thing. The next meeting is April 8th, which is Monday from 1 to 2:30. It is on Zoom. I do encourage everyone to attend these Zoom meetings because if there are more people there and more people speak up, they will listen more to what we have to say. If you need any of the internet addresses for packets or asking to be put on the mailing list, I have those here if you want to take a look at that. Anyway, any questions? Okay.
I have a question, actually, Holly. I don't know anything about this, other than I heard that the cannabis ordinance was making some sort of a decision to allow people to go up to these farms, just anybody in the public can go to these farms and lounge or whatever and buy product. Is there something, is that?
No, not quite. The Cannabis Alliance, it's Lake County Cannabis Alliance, LCCA, has been making recommendations all along to what they want, and then the task force votes on that. So for the past year, for about a year, they were going through and looking at all the zoning in the county. So basically, they were looking at the zoning, residential, agriculture, rural lands, and the type of permit, whether it's just a sign-off permit or a minor permit, use permit, or a major use permit. Minor and major use permits are important because they get public noticing, and they go to the zoning administrator or the planning commission, and if appealed, they go to the board. The other ones are just, you don't get any public noticing. So they put together an entire list, and it's massively different. A huge amount of places where they're recommending consumption lounges. Right now, there are no consumption lounges in Lake County. None of that's been approved. But they are requesting, retail sales on farms, consumption lounges on farms, cannabis events, et cetera. And the cannabis events is the one that's a little bit scary because they're recommending it in every zone except for residential. With no discretionary permit, meaning the public doesn't get notified. It just goes to community development and they sign it off if everything looks okay. That's concerning to us because if you think of something like High Valley Road and the roads that are up there, getting the public back there, it is problematic. Anyway, they took this proposed permitting and zoning table to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission agreed to kick it up for the board to take a look at it. The board took a look at it and told them to go ahead, continue along with the way you are. Basically, COTF did not want to go any further without finding out if the board was behind them on this. So the board asked them to, continue with it, but there's nothing that's been, voted on or approved. And allegedly, at the end of this year, they will actually have an ordinance finished that will come back and go out to CEQA and public review, possibly an EIR. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that, EJ? Okay.
Well, that's alarming. Simply because anybody that's going to these farms can get all baked and come driving under the influence all over the county. How does that make sense?
Well, they can do that with wineries, too.
Well, that's just not, that's just...
Anyway, that's one of those things
telling the
where-
public you can just go ahead and drive impaired, that's okay.
That's one of those things where when it comes back, when it goes out to CEQA and et cetera, I will let everybody know, and then everybody can weigh in on how they feel. The more people, it's like Horton hears a who, the more people that actually stand up, the more they will get listened to.
Holly, I have a question. Who is the resident representative for our side of the lake?
It's a gentleman in Lakeport. His name is Will Weiss.
Oh, so it's still Will?
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Any questions on commercial cannabis and the task force? Thank you, Holly.
Okay.
Next subject, which you're standing up there for that one as well. Number 9 on our agenda, general plan and shoreline area plan update. Just to give, before you go on with yours, at the last meeting, several residents expressed concern about having our input from the East Region Town Hall area and all of the geographical area that this encompasses on the shoreline area plan, which would impact us. As a result, we voted, and E.R.T.H sent a letter to CDD, Community Development Department, the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors on March 8th, requesting that a meeting basically be held here. And I understand that the Keys Property Owners Association quickly sent off a letter as well regarding the same concern that a meeting wasn't being held here. The director did get back to us from CDD citing staffing shortages and the cost of holding an additional meeting. So the meeting as it stands now, as I understand on the schedule, is the kickoff outreach meeting for the shoreline area plan update will be held on April 9th, next Tuesday, 6 p.m. at the Lucerne Senior Center. So anyone interested in what the plan is, the kickoff, how they update the plan, how this might impact you, and getting your input in there, I would encourage that you attend. It's my understanding at the next meeting, May 1st, that our director, Maria Turner, will be attending and will be talking about this subject. Correct, EJ?
No, they're having what you asked for here on May 1st.
That's not what she said.
Right?
Yeah,
N-
that's what I told you at the beginning of the meeting.
Holly has a different impression. I think there's been a lot of conversations that have occurred since that time. So we're having a full scale. What's happening at Lucerne is going to be happening here on May 1st.
Yeah, so hold on, let me pull up the email.
There is a meeting here on, okay, first I want to thank Supervisor Crandall very, very much for going to bat to us. He went in and asked, or I don't know what you did, but asked to have a meeting here, which they finally, CDD did agree to. In the interim, it appears from what has come out and what was stated at the Keys meeting, the Director Turner is going to come here on May 1st. We were under the impression that we were going to have a duplicate meeting, just like they're having in Lucerne, that could address, our area, et cetera, which would be roundtable kick-out discussions, people collecting information on what they would like to see in the plan, et cetera. Director Turner has said that she doesn't have the staff, so it may just be her coming to the May 1st meeting. And she will give a short overview of what's going on, but there will be no roundtable discussions or kick-out meetings. So I had spoken with Supervisor Crandall before this and also with E.R.T.H. So what my suggestion is, I believe Pam is going to the Lucerne meeting. I planned on going to the Lucerne meeting too, to participate in that and to find out how they set this up. What are the questions they ask? What are the round tables, et cetera? And then I was hoping that we as a community here, some of us could volunteer to man some round tables, and we could go in and have the whole meeting on May 1st and actually solicit this information specifically from us, and then compile it and then present it to CDD. And possibly, since Director Turner would be here, she would want to help us facilitate that. But they don't have the staff. They don't have the manpower. And so if we as a community could, volunteer to do some of this, to help out, it would be great. The shoreline area is a huge area, and our issues are a lot different than Lucerne, so we have to make sure that our issues are understood, basically. So I don't know how you feel about having the roundtable discussions here.
Basically, as Supervisor Crandall had suggested and requested, we're really going to devote the May 1st meeting to that topic and to Maria Turner. We'll we'll do some regular normal items that we have to conduct, but pretty much the whole meeting will be dedicated to that and the shoreline area plan. Okay. Okay.
Well, that would be absolutely wonderful. The General Plan Advisory Committee, of which Denise, our ex-supervisor Denise Rushing, is our representative for the North Shore. There was a kickoff meeting that was held on March 15th in which they appointed Denise Rushing chair of the General Plan Advisory Committee, and they reviewed the community outreach engagement plan at that. They also then made public, CDD made public presentations to the board and to the PC. I was going to ask Supervisor Crandall.
And so Thomas just showed me that it's on the list
Yes.
as part of. Yeah.
It is on the list as part of it, but if you notice, it says there will be no breakout sessions or, it says it on the memo that we got.
Okay.
It's on this right here.
That's fine. That's fine.
This is the.
I may have gotten something different. My stuff comes from the county directly.
It's on, that's the official thing they have out. So Supervisor Crandall, I know that yesterday at the board, they brought up the, I think it was Director Turner brought to you the idea of forming local area plan committees. I didn't know if you wanted to speak to that.
Yes, I'm glad you did. That's what I was thinking of talking
Yeah.
about next. But what I'll do is because I know you're calling Marcus as well, but when I email Maria, we'll do that simultaneously.
Okay.
You call Marcus and I'll email Maria about it, and then I'll also ask her about the first meeting as well, the May 1st. But the advisory committee, so there's going to be 72, so 72 positions basically for each area plan, because there's 8 of them.
Yeah, so there's 8 plans.
Yeah, so there's 9 people per committee for the area plans. So Earth will have a position, and there's, I want to say, I actually have it. Let me get the.
I have it if you want it.
Yeah. I go ahead if you'd like to.
Okay, so basically, they're following a little bit of a template for each of the local area plan committees. Each one's going to have nine members in each one. It's not going to follow Brown Act, so that, just like the general plan committee. Anyway, it's going to be 1 tribal, 1 business representative, 1 from Earth, 1 from SERTH, 1 environmental person, and then 4 public seats. But mind you, this is going to be split between the entire area of Lucerne, all the way over to the Calusa-Yolo boundary, down to surrounding areas of Clear Lake and Windflower Point. So that's what it will make up.
And I think there's they added an agricultural position.
I think that got left out.
Okay.
So they're going to start. Putting out applications to be accepted. The committee is going to meet over a 2-year period, possibly, and it's going to vary how much they will meet, depending on how much the committee wants to meet.
No, I think they did add it, because
I know you asked for it, yeah.
No, yeah, I asked, they might have not done it, but we'll double check.
Yeah, I think you should, because I think that was why Lloyd was coming back and saying, didn't you want to have something changed? And I think they forgot to mention that.
Okay.
That is pretty much what I have on all of that.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions on item 9, the general plan and shoreline area plan update? Anyone from Zoom?
So I guess I would just say, bottom line is May 1st, the meeting is going to be really important. Tell everybody that you know that this will be something where we're going to be talking about the shoreline area plan, which is going to be what's going to direct the growth here for the next 25 years. So get people to come in and give input on how they feel about stuff. Once I find out what's on the list, et cetera, I'll post it down at the bulletin board at the post office so people can see questions and things beforehand.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Item 10, North Shore Fire Protection District, Chief Mike Ciencio.
Good afternoon. Just to update for we'll start with what I usually forget about is our station in Spring Valley is finally finalized. We will do a groundbreaking ceremony, which hasn't been done yet. And we do have some equipment that's moved into the building. We're not quite moved in yet. It just happened within the last 2 weeks. So finally got the final approval. So we're all done with that. And then one of the pieces of equipment has to stay down here in the district because we're working on other engines and it's filling us a lot. We continue with recruiting. Recruiting is a hot topic. You know, we're still short paramedics, a lot of them, and we're doing the best we can. We're getting a lot of help from other departments in the county, kind of filling spots. So we're keeping our head above water there. Appreciate the help from the surrounding districts with that. And then the fuels crew, we're always looking for people there also. And actually, we're doing pretty good with applications for the fuels crew. So I think by the end of May, because of the background checks and physicals and things like that, we might be back to full staff on the crew. And then I've been tasked some based on work. For those of you who know, we partnered with Clerk Environmental Research Center. They wrote a grant that was, the majority of the grant is written for the crew to sustain them for the next 5 years, which now we're down to 4 years. And so that grant came through, and there's a lot of work to be done. And with the shortage of employees on that crew, we're not getting a lot of progress in those projects. So we're tasked with probably hiring 5 more. So I'm going to try to increase the crew to 16 and get some more work done. And ultimately, Kirk would like 2 crews of 10, and I said, well, that's a problem, but we'll figure it out. So that's kind of where we're at. No other big projects. We're doing we're doing some remodeling of the stations. Lucerne is getting a paint job right now, and painter's been rushing around to try to make them done. So.
Chief, what's the status on the flashes program?
Oh yeah. Okay. So the flashes program, if for some of you may recall that was a project brought to us by the Train Consulting, and there are 2 flashes programs going on right now in the county. One's in North Lakeport on Poe Mountain, and the other one is in Hidden Valley. And basically, what they are is a water turbine closed system, generate power, sell it to PG&E, and then it's a public-private partnership type of deal. We were working on one for Lucerne, and unfortunately, in their studies, they found they basically ran out of investors to work on them. So what their plan, they kind of dropped it. Didn't cost the district anything, other than a little bit of time to write the MOU. But other than that, they've kind of dropped it and put it on hold until they get these other 2 done and can prove that it's a good system, and then maybe they'll come back and look at the 3rd one. So, unfortunately, that would have been good revenue. So, any other questions? Yeah.
How often do you do flow checks on the fire hydrants?
The fire hydrants are owned by the water districts. It's ultimately their responsibility to do that. They should do them annually.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Yeah, but I don't own them. I have no responsibility for the fire hydrants.
So you won't be able to answer my second question?
I might be able to answer it.
Are they gonna replace the ones that are spray painted black because they don't work?
So color coding is not a requirement, so they can paint them black.
No,
It makes it very difficult for me, I can tell you that.
I was told that the ones that were painted black were decommissioned because they weren't working. So if you guys pull up the one, you know that you're not going to be able to get water out of that one. That's what someone had told me.
So we usually, if hydrants go out of service, we usually get a email or a call stating that those are out, or they're covered with like a plastic bag, which would make the whole area black, so that they're identifiable that way. And then if it comes to my office, then what we do, I send it out to the stations as a note. So I don't know, painting them is not, we don't rely on painting them black to say that they're out of service. Yeah.
Mike, is there some legislation or something that, I mean, you say the water company is responsible for the fire hydrants.
Yeah.
There is no regulations requiring the water company to legally do anything.
I didn't say they had to do it legally. I said they should be doing them annually.
Well,
So there's a difference there.
That's an opinion, though. It's not a legislative fact.
It's not a legislative fact. It's an NFPA standard.
We cannot get an answer.
So wait, we're not going to start this argument here.
Right.
So, but it's not. I didn't say it was a legally fact. I said they should be done annually.
And I'm just saying, if we can't get an answer from our county, from our state, on the responsibility of paying for the fire water.
Yep.
I mean, we used to get cooperation from the fire department. We had an agreement at one time that they included fire hydrants 2 a year that they would give to the water company. They no longer do that. Once they went to the North Shore instead of the Clear Lake Oaks Fire Department.
That's correct. That was not put in the agreement when all the 4 districts consolidated.
But it was the fire department that dropped it out of the agreement.
Every agency had the opportunity at that time to put anything in the agreement.
It would bear a discussion, a common sense discussion with our legislators to really clarify the fire water issue. It is an issue, but it does not have an answer.
I'm not following what you're asking for.
Pardon?
I'm really not following what you're asking for, because I know that there's been an issue with the fire hydrants. People have emailed me about it. I've talked to the water company. The water company says it's the county's issue. When I talk to people in the county, the director from special districts who might have some sort of linkage to it says that there's the responsibility there, that it's on the water department. It's just a real conundrum, but it's something we need to nail down. I don't know if you're familiar with what I'm talking about, Chief.
I hear it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, the water company receives no money from the state in the form of tax revenues that they receive for fire water that we get back in any kind of help. The only way we can pay for the fire water costs, including hydrants, is to charge ratepayers. And the ratepayers, they pay their taxes already. And we receive, and there is a fire tax, county fire tax, that we receive no income from.
All right. Well, let me add this, and maybe you can keep this as a standing item
It would just
as
be
well.
a good
So,
discussion.
yeah. No, it is, and I did address this before, but only with Clogba. I didn't bring it here, so I'll on my end I'll look into what you're talking about, because
So
there's
this-
a better explanation than what I'm giving you right now. So,
Yes, and it can bear.
and even if it's an explanation, at least we can get somewhere to at least start making some steps to taking care of what you're talking about. Yeah.
So Sam, I know you're concerned, and you're on the water board, so we're talking about the Clear Lake Oaks fire hydrants.
Clear Lake Oaks Water District, yes, which is primarily from the trailer court here on the east end of town to Paradise Cove development.
Now, can clarification, if we add this to an agenda item, are fire hydrants in general and in Spring Valley and all the other areas within this district also a question mark and a concern? I mean, not to eliminate other areas if this is a widespread issue?
You don't have to. I just would recommend. I just said it.
I'm happy to add. It's what the
and I don't
public
mind-
wants to hear.
I don't mind talking directly with Cloud about it as well, if need be.
And as the chief stated, they really should be exercised and flushed at least annually. Because when he has to go use it, and you go up and you see him, they got his fire locks on there to use it. They may not get any water because it's been sitting there, or the stem might break because it hasn't been exercised. So when there is a fire, he's not going to be able to do anything except for the water that's in his truck.
I will add that to our agenda to explore further, and I will add it to June since we're devoting May to shoreline area plan. Anything else for Chief Mike? You want me to announce the North Shore Ready Fest?
Oh,
It's coming up?
I can do that. Got to forget something, right? So the North Shore Ready Fest, which is our sponsored by our 5013C that was developed, the North Shore Fire Fund is putting on the North Shore Ready Fest. It's a community event for on April 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's kind of a get ready for fire season, things like that. There'll be entities there. Cal Water will be there. They're sponsoring the event. They're paying for a lot of the stuff, the food, for the barbecue, things like that, that we're going to hand out for free that day. Vendors will be there. Cal OES will be there. Lake County OES will be there. Red Cross will be there. And just give you information regarding being ready for fire season. And so it's a good event. It'll be the third year we've done it in a row.
Correct.
And we have a pretty good turnout. We're hoping for a nice day that day on April 27th, last Saturday of April. And come out and get some information about it.
It's a free event. It's also a free barbecue while the supplies last. You can sign up for Lake Co Alerts, File of Life, and there's going to be hands-on only CPR instruction. It's great for preparedness and community awareness. And again, a lot of people should definitely attend this so they can be prepared for our fire season. Right, Chief Mike? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I have one question. Is High Valley Ridge in your jurisdiction if fire should happen up there?
Yeah, so the North Shore Fire District spans from the county line at Colusa to the county line in Mendocino on along Highway 20, and we are automatic aid for every single call that Lake Pillsbury has. So that's an hour and 45 minutes away. So we cover 357 square miles.
Wow, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
We know you're busy. All right. Supervisor Crandall, how much time did we leave you? We always cut you short at the end.
Well, I went through a lot already.
You did, I know.
So-
Thankfully, you were interjecting information as we went. So it's your turn.
So I'm looking at everything that I talked about already, and it covered my list, but artisan, you guys know about the artisan craft fair at the park. That was a situation after the last meeting, and I guess they're having it now, so that's good.
Yay.
I had a question about, it says that's going to be, funds are being raised for the fire
Yeah, something like that.
department?
We're
We're unaware of
nonprofit,
that, so
so-
we're part of the group that supports, the nonprofit that supports the Fire Protection District, the North Shore Fire Fund, and Chief Mike was unaware of this event and who is running it, so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know it's Saturday, so.
Yeah,
This
this
Saturday, 10 to 4, I believe.
But,
Maybe, I know Sam had a question last time.
Potter Valley?
Potter Valley, Pillsbury Lake, the whole dam demolition,
Yeah.
or demolition of dam, does that sound better?
Yeah, well, decommissioning.
Decommissioning.
Yes. And so, I know that we've been meeting in closed session, so I won't go into that, as of right now, what's going on with it, but, in the meantime, the group that was put together as like it was another like NOI group that they put together for, another like committee. We obviously weren't included in that, and I think that was one of your questions, why weren't we included? Well, it doesn't matter because the FERC isn't even recognizing what they're doing either way. So, and PG&E just moved on with another letter to just go ahead and move forward with their decommissioning plan, because that's what they want to just expedite the decommissioning in all ways that they can, as fast as they can. So what we've done is accentuate the same thing over and over again. We want to try to slow it down. Our plan and our goal is to ensure that, of course, the dam stays, but always preparing for, the fact that it may be decommissioned eventually. But a biggest argument, of course, is first off, this isn't something that's going to save the fish, in our opinion. We feel like with the Klamath having its situation up there, I don't know if any of you are following that, but there's been a giant fish kill up at the Klamath in one of the dams that have went through. So we're just basically highlighting, okay, so if you see what's going on up there, you see what's happening here. Simple fixes or ideas don't really solve the problems, if you will. So that's what we're basically standing on continuously. And I'm trying to think of more, but there hasn't
Sam,
been
do you
too
have
much.
any specific questions for, and can you go to the podium?
The only comment I would make is that they're gonna spend $1 billion building a new sites reservoir over there for water storage.
Right.
And they're gonna tear down the dam that eliminates the water storage.
That's been our biggest comment as well.
But the only reason for tearing it down is so PG&E doesn't have to pay for the upkeep on it.
That's the same comment we're making. All of these different initiatives to to save water.
It's
Yeah.
terrible waste of our resources
Mhm.
and the money that's already been put into that. And then you open up the Eel River for no flood control.
Well, not to mention also the amount of diversions that are happening on the eel. I mean, whether it be cannabis or whatever else. I mean, that's not highly talked about. I mean, there's a video on Netflix about it, but
Well, and the real tragedy, well, I don't know, tragedy, but it's not even affecting Lake County that much yet. That's the Pillsbury Reservoir is the primary feed to Lake Mendocino.
right.
And the input into the Russian River. They have 2 8-foot diameter pipes running between the Van Arsdale Reservoir, which is 5 miles downstream from the Pillsbury Reservoir dam, and that's the input into the canal that goes into Mendocino,
Right.
feeds Mendocino. So 100% of the water in the so-called East Fork of the Russian River is eel water. Eel River water, nothing to do with the Russian River. And when the reservoir goes, they don't have, the reason they built Pillsbury was because the Van Arsdale Reservoir could not furnish enough water during the low periods. So they built Pillsbury 10 years after they had the Van Arsdale Reservoir built to feed that power plant in Potter Valley.
Not to mention they didn't really do any type of upgrades or maintenance to the generators. When we went to visit, they were basically still like from the 50s or 60s. So for me, it's like saying, oh, well, the body of the car is broke down really bad. We can't maintain it anymore, but you never took care of the shocks or did anything to it. That's the only way I can give an example of my opinion of what PG&E did. And so we also wrote an opposition letter to CPUC. We didn't feel it was right to put the rate onto the payers, that they're trying to accumulate another upgrade in their fees. So we wrote a letter opposing that as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're raising their rates pretty consistently.
Donna, thank you for your patience. You have something?
Yes, Supervisor Crandall, when I look at, this is Donna Mackwitz. When I look at the Lake County Scanner and Community Awareness Craft Fair flyer, it does say right at the top, fundraiser for the local fire department. So I assumed all proceeds went to the fire department. That's not the case?
It didn't happen yet.
It's
so
happening
it's
this
happening
Saturday.
this Saturday, so we can.
But do all the proceeds go to the fire department?
From what I understand, that's one of the things they said they were going to do when they
Okay.
contacted me about getting in touch with the Public Services Department. So so.
Okay.
Yeah, it should. So Chief,
Someone's talking to me.
Okay, well, I was just thinking.
I could get you.
I was just
I'll give
going
you a
just to
number.
support the fire department, so, thank you.
Well, because they said that and other, I'll have to get you in touch with that person, because they said fire department and other, like, people that may be affected. I don't know, does this say something else on there, or just fire department?
This is fundraiser for the local fire department.
Okay, well, let's get you in touch with them, Chief.
Great.
That's what I have on the Potter Valley Dam for now. Again, I don't want to get too far into the closed session items until that moves forward a little more, because there are some things we're talking about in closed session. But that's in regard to, of course, FERC. So, yeah.
Keep it up with it anyways. I think it's a sad state of affairs.
And I'll just give you all an example of the timeline of this, because Jim Steele said this back when he was the supervisor. He was saying everything that's being said now, everything that's happening, he mentioned the same thing, and really locked horns with Congressman Huffman about it, and then it just kind of like fizzled out with that situation, because then he came off and then I came on, and they basically just did this, they kept trying the same thing over and over, just didn't even say, oh, well, we'll bring you to the table, and then it always went through the same channels. Stop the Potter Valley Two-Basin Solution ad hoc group that Huffman put together, and then it became the Russian River Water Forum, and then that did this. It was just the same thing, 3.0, I guess you call it. So, yeah, it's just we're at the point now where we're just dealing directly with FERC and just saying the same thing over again, and making sure that if this happens, we could always say when. Like the situation with the Klamath, well, we did tell you that. Just like we had told them, Jim Steele's the one that gave this this statement to them and helped me understand this better too, that the dam provides the cool water flow for the salmonids, the fish, the eggs, or whatever you want to call it, and it's needed. And so every time we said this in any of the meetings, nobody said anything. We were basically just talked down by like Friends of the Eel and a couple other cow trout, I think. Then, lo and behold, last summer, cow trout writes a letter to FERC to ask them to close the gates, because, as you know, they were open last year because of the seismic report. And so they asked them to open or close the gates. That way it could provide more cool water, because the salmonids were frying and getting too hot in the 70-degree water. So, again, we're just making sure we hit every, opportunity to tell them,
Anyone have any questions, not just on that, but anything they would like to ask our supervisor?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, do it. No. You have 2 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think actually it was more, the planning commission had made a comment that they were going to drive up High Valley Road, and I think I sent a letter to all of you suggesting that you do that, and I don't know.
I've been up High Valley. I'll go again.
I'm all the way up there to the grows that they want to put in, because it's quite an experience, but.
Sounds to me like I might have to if it gets appealed, so.
Well, we'll work on that.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Item 12, new business.
I'm Chuck Lamb with Clear Lake Oaks. Chief Mike, can I borrow your voice? It'd be great. You've got a great voice. Projects. Real quickly, just an item of interest for the community. You're all familiar with the cell tower that sits up on the hill right up here, not far from here. It's 150 foot tall. My wife and I were looking over the legals in the Record B in March, and we came across an interesting legal notice. There's a company that in Massachusetts that has put in an application for another cell tower to go up in that same location. And so they have submitted an application, or started the application going, and drawings for that. And so it looks like, it's a good possibility that there will be another one up there. I've got an issue with that. I just don't want to see, I'm seeing a pattern here. Are we going to see 3 or 4 or 5 more or 6 more? If this one goes through, it'll be the second one in about 3 years. The other issue is, when the first one went in, my wife and I wrote a letter in objecting to the first one only because of the shoreline area plan. It was not in compliance with the shoreline area plan. We're talking about shoreline area plan. We wrote that in, we gave citations, and essentially it's the scenic combining districts that that cell tower violated the tenements too. However, it fell on deaf ears. The planner who was in charge of that particular project told the Planning Commission it is in total compliance with the general plan and the shoreline area plan. Not true, okay? However, that, like I said, fell on deaf ears. The thing went through and so forth. So I think a precedent has been established. It would be very difficult to stop a second one because, you know, you could say, well, it's a scenic combining district. Well, it's not going to matter the second time around. So, yeah, I just thought I'd mention it because hopefully we don't have a pattern of a whole bunch of them going up. That's it.
Thank you. That might be something we need to add to our agenda in the future, maybe? Will we need to add that item to our agenda in the future?
It's up to you, whatever you want.
We'll wait for now. Keep us posted and,
Yeah, you know, it's just going through the CDD process at this point in time. So, and then, you know, we talked to CDD, and they really didn't have any more information at that time, just starting the process.
okay.
Chuck, do you know who's responsible for the maintenance of those towers?
For that particular project,
That one?
I wouldn't
No. Or how about, there's one that appears to be falling over right next to Betty's Tacos. Has everybody seen that? There's a tower, it's just fallen over the fence, coming up rooted out of the ground. No, that's a cell, that's a cell thing. That, I mean, it's, yeah, that is a problem there. I don't know who's responsible for that thing, but it looks like it's about ready to fall over. It's right next door to him, so I don't know. Okay.
Any other announcements under item 13? Okay. Item 14, our next Earth meeting is Wednesday, May 1st, here at the Moose Lodge, again, 4 o'clock to 5:30, and we'd love to see everybody here for that, concentrating our efforts on the shoreline area plan update, please. With no further ado, I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 5:32.